and she is the ultimate rancher's wife, and so Elizabeth knows that ultimately.
Alexandra Dutton has finally reached her breaking point, and Tiana Rainwater is done running. The suffering, the pain, the injustice. It has all led to this. But will Alexandra survive the nightmare closing in around her? And will Tiana's desperate fight for revenge cost her everything? 1923's second season is pushing its characters to the edge, and in episode 6, the stakes are higher than ever. Let's break down what's coming next. If you thought Alexandra had already endured the worst of her journey, episode 6 is about to prove you wrong. She is starving, exhausted, and barely holding on after everything she's been through. The moment she collapsed onto that train kitchen floor, we knew. This woman has nothing left. But the world isn't done punishing her yet. The British family that took her in May seemed like a light at the end of the tunnel, but let's not be fooled. Their kindness is conditional, and their interest in Alexandra comes at a cost. When they discover she is pregnant, everything changes. They don't see her as a struggling woman trying to reunite with the man she loves. They see her as something fragile, something they can control. Here's where things get truly terrifying. They won't let her leave. With no money, no connections, and no way to travel through the brutal winter, Alexandra is completely trapped. And as the days pass, the walls around her begin to close in. She is a prisoner, and her captors don't even need chains to keep her locked away. Now, here's the real question. How far will Alexandra go to escape? Because the pressure is unbearable, and for the first time we'll see a darkness in her eyes that we haven't seen before. The despair is consuming her, and as rumors suggest, she might even contemplate the unthinkable. Yes, Alexandra has fought through hell to be with Spencer, but what happens when she begins to question if she has the strength to fight any longer? And let's not forget, Spencer is still completely unaware of what she's going through. He's stuck in his own battle, struggling to make it back home, unaware that the woman he loves is hanging by a thread. The tragedy of it all? He's so close, yet so far. Alexandra is running out of time. And if something, or someone, doesn't intervene, she may not make it to Montana alive. Alexandra has always been a survivor. From the moment she chose love over privilege, she has fought against the odds, refusing to let the world decide her fate. But in episode 6, survival becomes something far more brutal. This isn't just about enduring hunger, exhaustion, or cruel men anymore. This is about fighting against a future that is being forced upon her. The British family, who once seemed like her saviors, are not what they appear to be. They are wealthy, powerful, and well-connected, and they have decided that Alexandra's child belongs to them. Maybe they believe she is too fragile to raise the baby alone. Maybe they think she'll never make it to Montana in her condition. Or maybe deep down they just want to control her just like everyone else has tried to do. At first it seems subtle. They convince her to rest to regain her strength. They keep her comfortable, well-fed, and safe within their home. But the longer she stays, the clearer it becomes. This is not kindness. This is entrapment. Every time she asks about travel arrangements, there's a new excuse. The winter is too harsh. The roads are too dangerous. There are no ships, no trains, no safe passage west. And when Alexandra begins pushing back, the mask of hospitality starts to crack. Suddenly, the concern for her well-being feels more like control. The soft words turn sharper, the doors feel heavier, and then one day she realizes something chilling. Her only option for escape is gone. Whether it's through manipulation threats or something far worse, they have made it clear. Alexandra will not be leaving. But let's be honest, this isn't the first time Alexandra has been backed into a corner. She escaped Arthur and his family before choosing freedom over status. She risked everything to be with Spencer, leaving behind the life she once knew. And now trapped in yet another golden cage, the question isn't whether she will fight back. The question is, how far will she go to get out? Because let's not pretend she has many options. She is outnumbered, outmatched, and powerless in the eyes of the world. If she runs, she has nowhere to go. If she fights, she risks losing everything, including her child. And if she gives in, she may never see Spencer again. This is Alexandra's breaking point, and episode 6 will show us just how deep her desperation runs. Because this time, she doesn't just have herself to think about. she is carrying Spencer's child. And no matter how hopeless things may seem, one thing is certain: she will not let her baby be taken from her without a fight. But as Alexandra battles for her freedom, another fight is brewing in the West. One that is just as personal, just as desperate, and just as deadly. Because while Alexandra is trapped in a prison of wealth and control, Tiana Rainwater is done running. Tiana Rainwater has spent her entire life being hunted. From the moment she was forced into the hell of the boarding school, she was taught one brutal lesson: survival means submission. But Tiana never learned how to bow. Instead, she fought. She killed to escape, she ran to survive, and she has endured unimaginable losses along the way. But in episode 6, Tiana finally stops running. Father Renaud is close, far too close. His obsession with reclaiming her has pushed him to hunt her like an animal, determined to drag her back into the nightmare she barely escaped. But Tiana has had enough. She is done hiding, done fleeing, done living her life in fear. And as much as her father wants to protect her, as much as he urges her to keep running, Tiana has made her decision. This time, she will face her demons head-on. But here's the question: what happens when rage takes over? Because Tiana isn't just fighting for her life anymore. She isn't just trying to escape. This time, it's about vengeance. And vengeance is a dangerous thing. It consumes, it blinds, and more often than not, it destroys the person who seeks it. The moment she learns of Pete's death, something inside her shatters. He was the one person who saw her, who loved her, who promised her a future beyond the nightmares of her past. And now he's gone, murdered in cold blood by the very monster she has been running from. The weight of it is unbearable. The grief, the rage, the guilt of being powerless to stop it, it all burns inside her, threatening to take control. Her father will try to stop her. He will tell her that revenge is not the answer, that killing the priest will only bring more pain, more suffering. He will remind her that she is still in danger, that more men will come after her if she chooses this path. But Tiana has made up her mind. She will not run any longer. She doesn't just want justice. She wants to end this nightmare once and for all. Now let's be honest. Tiana is walking into a battle she may not survive. Father Renaud is powerful. He has men, resources, and the full weight of the church behind him. And if Tiana goes after him, she won't just be fighting him. She'll be making herself a target for every single person who believes in his cause. But let's not forget, Tiana is dangerous too. She has already proven she can kill. She has already shown that she will do whatever it takes to survive. And when you take everything from someone, when you strip them of their family, their love, and their future, you leave them with nothing left to lose. That is the version of Tiana we will see in episode 6. The one who no longer fears death because death is better than a life spent running. The one who will walk straight into the lion's den not with desperation, but with a plan. And let's be clear, this isn't just about killing Father Renaud. This is about sending a message. If Tiana succeeds, she won't just be avenging Pete. She will be striking a blow against the entire system that tried to erase her people. She will be proving once and for all that she is not a victim, not a girl to be broken or controlled. She is something far more dangerous, a warrior willing to do whatever it takes to reclaim her life. But there's another side to this, a darker side that we cannot ignore, because revenge is a path that rarely ends well. If Tiana kills Father Renaud, she will be marked for life. There will be no running after this, no hiding, no fresh start. She will be hunted until the day she dies. So, what will happen when the dust settles? Will she escape? Will she find safety? Or will this be the moment that seals her fate forever? One thing is certain. By the end of episode 6, Tiana Rainwater will no longer be the girl we first met. She will be something else entirely. And the world should be afraid of what she is about to become. While Alexandra is trapped and Tiana is preparing for war, Spencer Dutton is facing his own battle, one that is becoming more dangerous with every passing moment. He has spent the entire season fighting to return home, desperate to stand beside his family and reclaim the life that was stolen from him. But now, just when he is finally within reach of Montana, new threats are rising to stop him. Let's not forget, the Marshal of Montana has already warned Spencer that his return will spark a war. The Dutton family is barely holding on, surrounded by enemies who have been waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And Spencer? He is the greatest threat to their plans. He is a soldier, a killer, a man who has spent his entire life surviving in the most brutal conditions imaginable. If he makes it back, the battle for Montana will change instantly. That is exactly why his enemies don't want him to reach the ranch alive. As he continues his journey, the walls are closing in around him. He is being watched, tracked, and hunted by men who know exactly what he is capable of. Every step he takes toward Montana is another step closer to war, and the people who want him dead are not willing to wait for the fight to come to them. But here's what makes the situation even worse. Spencer has no idea what Alexandra is going through. He doesn't know that she is trapped, that she is being manipulated, that she is questioning whether she will ever see him again. All he knows is that she was supposed to be on a train. He is assuming that she is making her way toward him just as he is making his way toward her. That assumption could cost them both everything, because while he believes he is fighting for a homecoming, Alexandra is fighting for her very survival. If she can't escape in time, if she loses hope, if the people holding her decide to take more drastic measures, Spencer may return to Montana only to find that the woman he fought so hard for is gone. And let's talk about Spencer himself, because right now, he is a man walking a fine line between honor and destruction. He has spent years in the darkness, haunted by war, death, and violence. Alexandra was the light that pulled him out of that abyss, the reason he believed he could have a future beyond bloodshed. But what happens when he finally returns home, only to find that his world is still just as broken as it was before? Because let's be clear, Spencer isn't just returning to Montana as a man seeking justice. He is returning as a weapon. The people who killed his brother, who stole his family's land, who turned his home into a battleground, they have no idea what's coming for them. And if Spencer has to burn everything to the ground to reclaim what was lost, he won't hesitate. But here's where it gets complicated. Spencer has always been a survivor, but he has never been a leader. He is a soldier, a fighter, a man who thrives in chaos. Taking back the Dutton land isn't just about killing enemies. It's about rebuilding, protecting, and leading a family that is on the verge of collapse. Can he do that? Or will the same demons that have followed him for years finally consume him? One thing is certain. By the time Spencer steps foot in Montana, nothing will ever be the same. But while Spencer is preparing for war, there is another storm brewing in the distance. Because as dangerous as his enemies may be, as brutal as the fight for the Dutton land is becoming, there is one man who has been silently rising in power, Banner Creighton. And in episode 6, we will finally see him transform into something truly terrifying. While Spencer fights to return home, and Alexandra struggles to escape her captors, another force is growing stronger in Montana. Banner Creighton has spent this entire season playing a dangerous game, slowly positioning himself as the true power behind the war against the Duttons. And in episode 6, we will see just how far he is willing to go to ensure his victory. Banner has always been a survivor. When we first met him, he was nothing more than a bitter man with a grudge, a cattle thief who underestimated the Duttons and paid the price for it. Jacob Dutton left him hanging from a tree, believing he was as good as dead. But Banner didn't die. Instead, he came back stronger, more ruthless, and more determined than ever to destroy the family that tried to wipe him out. With Donald Whitfield backing him, Banner has become something far more dangerous than just a man with a grudge. He is a man with power, money influence, and an army of hired guns at his disposal, all thanks to Whitfield's resources. But let's be honest, Banner doesn't just want revenge anymore, he wants control. And in episode 6, he will finally take the last step in his transformation from a simple outlaw into a full-fledged warlord. Because now he has one goal in mind. Spencer Dutton cannot be allowed to reach Montana. Banner understands what everyone else seems to be underestimating. Spencer is the key to everything. The Duttons are barely holding on. Jacob is old, wounded, and losing influence. Kara is strong, but she cannot fight this war alone. Without Spencer, the Duttons will fall. But if Spencer makes it back, the battle will change completely. With Whitfield's resources, Banner is preparing to raise an army of men, mercenaries, outlaws, and anyone else willing to fight for the highest bidder. He isn't just planning to confront Spencer when he arrives. He's planning to wipe him out before he ever sets foot in Montana. Think about it. Banner has the money to hire the best killers money can buy. He knows Spencer is coming. and he has the advantage of striking first. If Banner can ambush Spencer before he reunites with his family, before he has a chance to rally the ranch and prepare for war, then the Duttons are as good as dead. But here's where things get even more dangerous. Banner is no longer just Whitfield's puppet. At first, it seemed like Banner was nothing more than a tool, a pawn in Whitfield's larger plan to take over the Dutton land, but that is changing. Banner is starting to think like a leader. He is seeing opportunities that Whitfield is overlooking. And in episode 6, he is going to take his first step toward breaking free from the man who gave him his power in the first place. Because let's be honest, Banner isn't the kind of man who likes being controlled. He has followed Whitfield's lead because it was convenient, because it gave him what he wanted. But now with an army under his command and a clear path to destroying the Duttons, why should Banner keep answering to Whitfield? If Banner succeeds in killing Spencer, he will have proven something. He doesn't need Whitfield anymore. And once he no longer needs him, what's stopping Banner from taking control for himself? This is where things are going to get messy. Because if Banner and Whitfield turn against each other, it won't just be the Duttons caught in the crossfire. It will be all of Montana. But there's one thing Banner is forgetting. One thing he isn't considering in his grand plan to take everything for himself. He is not the only one who is preparing for war. Because while Banner is planning his ambush while he is celebrating the power he thinks he now holds, Cara Dutton is making her own moves. And in episode 6, she is about to remind everyone why the Dutton family has survived for so long. While Spencer fights to reach home, Alexandra struggles to escape, and Banner prepares for war. There is one person who has been silently holding everything together. Cara Dutton. For too long, she has been underestimated. She is not a cowboy, not a gunslinger, not a man who can walk into town and force respect with a gun on his hip. But what people fail to realize is that Cara is more dangerous than any outlaw, more calculating than any politician, and more ruthless than any hired gun. Because when the Dutton family is on the verge of collapse, when everything they have built is about to be stolen, Cara does not break, she fights. And in episode 6, she is about to make her most dangerous move yet. She knows Spencer is on his way, but she also knows he might not make it in time. The war for the Dutton land is already starting, and waiting for Spencer to arrive could mean losing everything before he even sets foot in Montana. So, Cara does what she has always done. She acts. With Jacob growing weaker by the day, she takes complete control of the ranch, preparing it for the bloodshed that is coming. She strengthens their alliances, gathers what men they still have, and starts making plans for a preemptive strike against Banner's growing army. Because here's the thing, Banner thinks he has the advantage. He thinks that by controlling the courts, by hiring mercenaries, by planning his ambush on Spencer, he has already won. But Cara has been watching. She has been waiting. And now, she is ready to strike first. Here's what we can expect. Cara is going to turn Banner's own strategy against him. For weeks, Banner has been using money and influence to weaken the Duttons, corrupting the system to ensure he stays ahead. But Cara, she understands power better than anyone. And she knows that while money can buy loyalty, fear is far more effective. She is going to make sure that when Banner's men look at the Duttons, they don't see a weak ranch on the verge of destruction. They see a death sentence. Because the truth is, these mercenaries don't care about Banner's war. They don't care about his vendetta. They care about getting paid and staying alive. And if Cara can convince them that siding with Banner means dying in a ditch before they even see their money, then Banner's army could crumble before the war even begins. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Cara is not just focused on Banner anymore. She knows that Donald Whitfield is the true enemy, the real power behind the attacks on the ranch. And in episode 6, we are going to see the first seeds of her plan to take him down. Cara is not a gunslinger, but she is a strategist. And if she can find a way to turn Whitfield's own greed against him, then she might be able to do what even Jacob and Spencer cannot, cripple Whitfield before he even gets the chance to strike. This means we could see Cara making alliances that no one expects, because at this point, it's not just about survival, it's about playing the long game. But the real question is, can she hold on long enough for Spencer to return? Because let's not forget, while Cara is fighting in Montana, Spencer is walking straight into a trap. Banner is not just planning to stop him, he is planning to kill him. And if Banner's ambush succeeds, if Spencer dies before he ever reaches home, then everything Cara is fighting for could be lost in an instant. And let's not forget about Alexandra. Her survival is hanging by a thread. She is fighting against forces that are stronger, richer, and more powerful than she ever imagined. And as much as she wants to hold on, as much as she wants to believe she can endure, until she reaches Spencer, her breaking point is coming. Which means everything. Kara's war, Spencer's fight, Alexandra's survival hinges on what happens next. Because in episode 6, all the pieces are finally in place. The war for the Dutton land is no longer just a possibility, it is here. The enemies are ready, the battles are set, and the only thing left to do is fight. So, the question is, who will survive? Will Spencer make it back in time? Will Alexandra escape before it's too late? Will Tiana get her revenge? And will Kara's final gamble be enough to save the ranch? One thing is certain. Episode 6 is going to change everything. For more updates on 1923, make sure to like and follow. And while you wait for the next episode, check out the video on the screen. You won't want to miss it.